So hi guys, it's gonna be 10.2, a very special topic for you, a good exposure for quality management system. So it is about non-conformity, or we use NC as a simple as a brief, and corrective action CA. So NC and CA. Whenever we manage quality, you should expect problems, and you should expect non-conformity in the processes, in the products, activities, etc. So we need to address this by using the corrective action system, or CA system. By doing so, we reduce the risks and yields improvements. So this is actually the keywords here. So we address non-conformity or problems by using corrective action system. By doing so, we reduce risks and we yields improvements. So remember, in the class, quality assurance is all about improvement. CA is the process for investigating and taking actions on existing problems. So today we talk about investigations. CA is one of the most fundamental aspects of management system process. So you are expected to be able to solve your problems effectively. Otherwise, you will not last very long in the business, because problems are to be expected. All right. So NC are the trigger for CA. Any problems within the organization can be NC and can trigger at CA. These issues may include customer complaints, internal defects, errors, process inefficiencies, supplier problems, audit, non-conformity, return goods, safety incidents, environmental issue, service delay, cost overruns, failure to achieve objectives, etc. So in fact, any activity or any process or products that does not meet requirements is potentially subject to corrective actions. All right, so what we do this project management. Our focus during project management is to change the way work is done. Okay, so luckily, ISO 9001-2015 provides basic steps from step 1 to step 9 to solve problems and attack the NC. And this is what we mean by the CA system, corrective action system. So we start from number 1, review and analyze the non-conformity. Understand it, get the facts in order to write an accurate problem statement. You have to understand your problems. 2, determine the causes of the NC. 3, determine if similar NCs exist some other departments. Maybe we've been receiving the same training from the same training suppliers. These are not very good suppliers of training, so the whole organization suffer because of this training providers. 4, implement actions. 5, review effectiveness. You check whether whatever action that you decide to implement, whether these actions are effective in addressing the non-conformity. 6, update risks and opportunities, because you change the risk now after effectively taking actions. The risk should be lower. And 7, make changes to the QMS. This is to make it permanent. This is part of the documentation requirement. 8, check that the CA should be appropriate to the effects. And finally, 9, retain the documented information, for sustainability. All right, so we start with number 1. The first step, review and analyze the non-conformity. We want to get the facts in order to write an accurate problem statement. How was the problem reported? Who experiences the problems? So a lot of the time people tend to focus on symptoms, not the real issue. So you have to really investigate deeper. You have to interview the people involved and then find out what exactly is the problems. Go beyond the raw symptoms. So your mind should be very critical, should be in the investigation mode. You're not interested in the symptom, you want to find the root cause. When does the problem happen? You want to find the causes, so you want to know when it happened. Where does the problem occur? Again, going to deeper and deeper to find the causes. How often does the problem occur? Frequency helps to clarify scope and magnitude of the problems. Alright, so you could be the quality manager, so maybe a very reliable executive to help you. This can be accountable for each of the corrective actions. This guy can be a project manager to investigate and get action. He can drive the process and recruiting other members. and you can help as a manager because you have deep understanding of the variables. And then number 2 is time to determine the causes of the NC. Most of the time problems are caused by a chain of interrelated causes that must be identified and addressed. So people are trying to describe or report the problems. Sometimes they say employee errors, failure to follow SOP, not paying attention, sloppy work, unknown, etc. These are bad way to report the problems, because it tends to be person-centric, not process-centric. So you're supposed to be process-centric about this. To obtain true improvement of the process, you must dig deeper to find out why an error is made, say by your employee. So normally it is due to the flaws in the process, maybe communication, maybe the way the SOP is written, maybe the training was wrong. Okay, so you must investigate each step of the process that could lead to problems. Maybe missing information, maybe old information that was not updated. Maybe your workers have inadequate tools or improper tools. Maybe they receive unclear instruction. It is always the case. The instructions are not clear. SOPs are flawed. They misunderstood customer requirements. Somehow the SOPs, the work instruction have been written in a very complex way. Need to be simplified maybe. Conflicting goals, incompatible instruction from multiple sources. Ineffective training. People want to do it right, but they got wrong training. Alright, so step number 2, you want to eliminate the identified causes, but sometimes not all causes can be eliminated. Don't worry, all you can do is to reduce it. So your job now is to remove or reduce all the identified causes to an acceptable level. If you can reduce to a good level, your CA should be a success. So don't worry. 3, determine if similar NCs or non-conformity exists. Any other department, maybe any other spot within the organization. It's not just single NC, there could be similar issues within the organization. Sales maybe having the same problem with the production, purchasing having the same problem, etc. Imagine if you find 1 or 2, it will make the problem solving or improvement more meaningful, because it covers more departments, not just your small department. Number 4, after you know that NCs exist, some other department maybe, now you implement actions. You really understand the issues, you know the causes, next to do is take action to remove or reduce the causes of the problems. But be very sure that the actions are implemented. Most fixes are a combination of many smaller fixes. You have to follow up, you have to manage the process with persistence and discipline. This is very serious matter because you do not want to repeat step 1 to 3, because once you take action you have to be very firm, very disciplined. So the plan for corrective action on non-conformity will typically include these elements: action, responsibility, resources, due date. If you can recall our quality objective, this is the similar plan. Yeah, this is logical. Yeah. So what exactly must be done? The actions it should be as simple as possible. Do not be complex about it. Do not be vague. And then responsibility: who is taking the action? Yeah, we have to assign one person, not whole committee. But this particular person can assemble a team, but he is the one who is accountable. Okay, resources: you mean this particular guy may need tools, supplies, personnel, or capital. Maybe you need a special amount of money to solve the problems. No resources will magically appear. Resources are there because some people make it available. So maybe you have to ask for some funding from your managers, from your leaders, from your boss. Maybe you need to get some cooperation from other department. Okay, and then due date: when exactly do we expect the action to be completed? Okay, by having the time frame, you work towards a particular deadline. The responsible person should identify this and agreed upon by all stakeholders, and multiple due dates are necessary because you can drive incremental progress. So this is step 1, 2, 3, 4. We will continue with step number 5 in the next video. Happy learning.